What's good, YouTube? Welcome back. DubDigital crypto news, macro trends. Today I bring you all the way from India, one of Ethereum's top scaling sidechain solutions. To increase the throughput of Ethereum, Matic, we have Matic Network, first BTC pair. Now look, Matic disappointed a lot of people. If anything looks wrong with this chart here, check this out. This sucker right here faked out a whole bunch of people. Shot up with not that much volume, guys, and that's why you always gotta watch volume. And I'm gonna point this out before I get into where the price is currently, so you know how to identify, or at least have an inkling to know that something's fishy in a price move, okay? If you ever see something like this, shoots up like exponentially, just no rhyme or reason, and the volume doesn't follow through. We had 5 times the amount of volume in this price move that didn't go as high back in May 2019. And this right here, November 2019, we had barely any of that volume. That indicates to me that's a bunch of whales pushing that price up to get people to buy in higher and higher so they could eventually sell on you, which they did at about this point. And it fell just as fast as it went up. So check this out. That's discouraged the market a lot on Matic. That's probably prevented a lot of people from getting into this project because of such a steep, crazy, knife-like drop. But with that said though, Matic's always pretty much, except for this one anomaly, always stayed true to its bottom trend line. It hasn't been touching. It touches very, very, very infrequently, but it's pretty close. Right? And that's been pretty much the whole story for its whole entire life. And I'll zoom out here so you can see it. It's not a very old asset. 2019, popped on the scene. 2020, it's much lower than it was back in the day. So, being value investors, we look at items that are depressed for maybe possibly purchasing, for maybe selling at a higher price. Because if you follow this channel, you inherently believe everything reverts back to the mean, or everything goes back to the average. If it's uncharacteristically high, it will come down, and when it's uncharacteristically low, it will come up. Same thing here. Okay, well James, why'd you draw this triangle on this pattern? Obviously, like, it's cutting through. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Stop doing this. Doesn't make sense. Well, okay, chill out, guys. I'ma get to it. Check this out. From the very, very highest point of the wick, I just draw a triangle, guys, and see where the bottom trend line meets the top trend line. And whatever triangle I get is what I use for the most part, unless something else is tricky. I'm looking at this with such low volume, guys. But as far as buying low, it's pretty damn low, in my opinion. Not financial advice. Do your own research, y'all are adults. Let's just all realize that. I'm not gonna respect this. This is not characteristic of the asset throughout its life. It was probably manufactured. So, with that said, I'm still going to act as if the price action has been respecting this triangle, which it would have if left unmanipulated. And asset ranges move sideways of what you've done for probably the last, since 2020. Any kind of money that leaks into this asset all can cause an exponential price rise. There's not too much selling going on. There's not too much buying going on. Any of either can cause a big price move. But why do you have these circles that say fractal on it? What is that? Well, a fractal is a pattern that seems to repeat over and over in an asset's price history. Typically, they vary in size. Some are smaller, some are bigger. I think I've identified one here, and this is very characteristic of what happened during the March 2020 oil event when oil went negative for every asset. If you look on every single chart almost of every asset, it has this little curvy dip pattern and rise up. Now, the rise ups are somewhat flattened or even higher, like Bitcoin was stupid high. And that's because it shows the ferocity of what people perceive at the time as a good deal. I see this pattern play out again. Huge dip in price, and then a quick buy up. It wasn't even that much people buying, but a lot was bought. The reason being is I think savvy investors are keen in seeing that this thing is winding up under the trend line with a fractal that's repeated here. Okay, so this should show you a little better of what I'm seeing in terms of the fractal. Okay, so we see this curve here, see that right here, and then the run up, which can vary depending on how the market feels about it at the time, but we see the slant up, curve up, and a drop off. Now, what are these gray lines here? I'll show you what I was thinking. So these gray lines here are actually showing where the ADL dipped last time during the October 2019 pump for Matic, which is this area here. The 2019 pump for Matic preceded this bigger pump later in the year. Just remember that. I am only talking about a fractal that shows or can potentially show that we're coming up to the first smaller pump. So basically, ADL dips right here, which follow my mouse. Rebounds up, dips again. And in between that time, we experience a range and then our first pump after this fractal. If my prediction is correct, and this is the same fractal right here than it is right here, well, we've had somewhat a sell-off. We should go more or less sideways, and even if we go sideways, guys, for any amount of time, right now this thing is already broken out. So we can either go straight, we can go down, we can enter back into the triangle, but I'm not showing you that we're immediately breaking out right now. We could be. You see the price action coming out. But what I'm trying to say is, first this, then this. Now we see this. Then we should get something equivalent. Let's measure what that could potentially look like, guys. 60% last time in October 2019 pump after this fractal and a slight ranging motion and a dipping of the ADL. Now we either get a range or just screw that, we go straight up, and if it's anything like its last time, we're looking at something like this. So we'll probably shoot up to somewhere here after breaking out of this this pattern here and come back to support somewhere around this line. So let me draw that just so you guys could see. Somewhere around here, like I'm thinking like boom, boom. And that's one. And the cool thing about Matic, guys, just looking at the chart to help you evaluate for yourselves. Once Matic starts going, it's not really gonna take too long to move. This thing, look how high this thing goes. I look for these spikes in cryptos because it indicates how quickly they can move. This thing is lightning. So if we got a break of this multi-year downward structure to the upside and we overperform, we'll probably hit resistance over here and retest here to confirm that we can move up safely and higher. But there's only like 1, 2, 3 areas of resistance in this thing. There's like 3 areas of resistance in this thing. It's dynamite. And even if, and it can happen, that we fall back down in this triangle, because sometimes it takes a few boop boop before you blast off. Let's measure it to see what the end of the triangle looks like, how long that'll take. 72 days. Okay, so in 3 months and a quarter, we're looking at breaking this structure. This is the bottom trend line. There hasn't been no other version of a bottom trend line. So unless you think Matic is gonna go to 0 and break this and go down, there's no precedence for that, by the way. I would think in 3 months time, it's broken out and it's moving up towards more this area. Because guys, air pocket, air pocket, air pocket, air pocket, done, price discovery. There ain't no history on this thing. That's why it could be powerful to get into these quickly, because once they break through their resistances, ladder on up, sky's the limit. But check it out, guys. More importantly, don't invest more than you're willing to lose. But Matic, in my mind, done research on them based out of India. They're a sound project. They're one of the few realistic ways for Ethereum to like get its throughput up through side chains. And they got a lot of respect from the crypto community. Just want to bring you guys this one. I'll follow it. But it looks like this thing's breaking out in real time. Alright guys, that's all I got for you. I'm DubDigital. Like, comment, subscribe. Crypto news, macro trends. Catch y'all later. Peace.